out of sight, out of mind. You found someone new, but I can't change my love the way that you do.
Hi, welcome to the West End Video Newsletter. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Elizabeth Peabody House. They've been in existence over 100 years. They were formed by O-line Yankees down in Boston. I guess they had one of the first playgrounds, and they first gave, I think it was milk for working mothers. So we're going to be talking about I guess they've been in existence 100 years, 70 years, I guess, or so in Boston, or maybe even less than that, maybe 60 years in Boston, and another 40 here in Somerville or somewhat. I don't have the exact figures, but I'm sure the people that we have here will tell you exactly how, why, and where the Elizabeth Peabody House started, came from, and is going. So I guess that's about it, and be that as may, I will now introduce Richie Morello. Richie, would you care to say a few words about the Peabody House? First, if you could introduce your guests here.
Yep, I shall, Jim. First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the alumni of the Peabody House, giving us this opportunity to be on the program with you and share some of our past experiences for the centennial, some of the past events and some of the upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us an opportunity to have some exposure and let the viewers out there know exactly what's going on and the effort that's involved and how successful our events have been to this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to introduce the guests that we have here, starting on my right, Ellen O'Brien. Ellen is the president of the Elizabeth Peabody House Board of Directors. Retired school teacher of the city of Somerville.
Mm-hmm.
She chaired our Peabody House Night at the Pops, and she'll be talking about that. She's been very instrumental in the fine goings-on of the Board of Directors and keeping it going along in fine fashion. Next to Ellen, Joan Colbert. Joan was the chairperson of our spring fashion show. She's also my ticket chairperson for the Harbor Cruise coming up on July 13th, and Joan will add some insight into how things went with the fashion show. Next to Joan, Ray Harris, alumni member, longtime participant and camper at Camp Gannet in Sharon. Ray, I'm certain, will share some of his tales and some of his reminiscences of the Camp Gannet in Sharon. And that's our group for this evening.
Okay. You know, like I say, the Peabody House has been here for quite a long time. And I guess, first of all, would anybody like to talk about, you have the centennial celebration coming up. Would anybody like to talk about that?
Oh, we'd love to talk about
Okay.
that. As Richard just said, we've had everyone involved in our centennial celebration. And as you mentioned, we started in Boston. And the wealthy Yankees of whom you spoke developed the idea of the Elizabeth Peabody House because of Elizabeth Peabody, who was an educator. She was one of the forerunners of the kindergarten. She worked with immigrants in Boston, and she was an intellectual leader of her day. She associated with people like Nathaniel Hawthorne and Horace Greeley and the rest of them. And
A lot of them were on the board of directors, I believe.
Well, a lot of them, those people were instrumental in helping her to develop her ideas. But when you talk about the people who were the directors, you're talking about the people like the Peabodys, the Steinerts. I mean, people who were people of wealth and who believed in social obligations being fulfilled and helping people who needed help. And through the years, the idea of family helping families and the Elizabeth Peabody House helping families, that's continued, and that's been the basis of our work. Since we're celebrating our centennial, and we certainly have looked forward to that with a great deal of
pride.
Boy, we have been right there working on it. And we've done a number of things. I mean, as was said, Joan worked on the fashion show, which was super, and she'll explain, and I worked on the pops, and other people worked on, Teresa and Bononi worked on the Truckee Night, which we had in October, and Richard's doing a fantastic job.
Which was a great success, by the way.
It was a wonderful success. Wonderful thing. Leonard Nimoy was there, and we're expecting Leonard Nimoy to come to our gala, which we're going to hold at the Hilton Hotel on September the 28th, our big dinner coming up. And Richard, of course, has been working hard on the cruise. So we have been having a very fine year, and it's been a year which has certainly put the board to a test.
Wasn't Leonard Bernstein also in the Peabody House at one point?
Yes, Leonard Bernstein was there.
He ran the theater for a while.
That's right. We've had a number of people who started at the Elizabeth Peabody House Theater, and who have become very well known.
Also including Jim Campano.
He did also. Now see where all these illustrious people come from. But that's been the history of the Peabody House. And when we came to Somerville, we started in storefronts. We came because of the demolition of the West End, and we were invited to come to Somerville, and we have done very well. And we're now down at 275, 277 Broadway, and we still do our daycare, our kindergarten, our helping women to learn skills which will be of value to them in the marketplace, and working on social missions. And it's a mission of which we're very, very proud.
We've done shows in the past where they've come in with videos and tapes of the different things they've done. It's a very fine organization, and they're doing the child care and all the rest of the things. They have a good organization. Except that, like all organizations, you are running, because you are they. You are running out of, the Peabody House is not getting the same kind of contributions they have in the past. So if anybody out there is, has some money they would like to give, the Peabody House would be a great place to donate it to, because they do wonderful work.
Oh, it certainly would. Like all nonprofit agencies, we're having a really difficult time. And trying to get grants in this day and age has become less of a likelihood. So we're really and truly in there working very hard in order to get enough money to maintain the programs. And it's hard, because you can maintain your programs, but inside yourself, what you want to do is expand them. And that's difficult, very difficult.
I know myself in the West End. I knew how the Peabody House was and how it went, but I'm not too familiar about how it was in Somerville. Can you explain how it's developed and how some of the programs how they worked out in Somerville? Because I think a lot of people, even in Somerville, aren't too familiar with what the Peabody House does. Maybe if you did a little more in depth about what the Peabody House means to Somerville. Well,
we do a great deal. For example, we service over 138 children on a daily basis. We service them in our infant and toddler care, which is on the Memorial Road. We service them in our kindergartens. We have a Mystic Daycare Center. We have a daycare center kindergarten on the Broadway site, and we also have the first private daycare center in the Ames envelope. We pick up youngsters after school, and we have them with us from 3 o'clock until 5:30 every day, every school day. That's a substantial effort for us. We also have a program by which women who have few skills are trained in the area of child care. Of course, I said women. It's not only women. We are open to men and women. Anyone who wants to learn about child care can come. And we graduate about 15 students each year, and those students find employment. And they're really so pleased to be able to find a line of work in which they have a marketable skill, and it's absolutely wonderful. We have a grand camp called Camp Gannet, and it's out in Sharon.
Sounds familiar to me.
We send almost 100 children, and Ray was there also. We send and Richard's another graduate of that program. We send almost 100 children on a daily basis from the city out to Camp Gannet. We also have family camps, and people rent cabins at a very low price, and that goes from the late part of June, beginning of July, until the end of August, and it's a fine opportunity for youngsters to get out of the city and to work together in coordinated activities. We work with the neighborhood. We have groups of women. We have like little gatherings, coffee clutches, and so forth. And we also have a friend-to-friend program. So there are a number of things we do. The sad part of it is we used to have a fine theater, the one we mentioned, and that was absolutely great. But dollar-wise, we found that we couldn't support it. So now we rent our theater out, and we encourage the people who are producing to train children in theatrical arts and so forth. But this is what we do, and our mission is substantial, and it's constant because there's an ever-constant need.
And if you're watching and you're from Somerville, it's a good idea to avail yourself of all these special things at the Peabody House, because they could be of great help to you if you need any of them. So I would think it's available, and I don't know if enough people avail themselves of these services, but I would think it's a good idea. Give them a call and see what's over there. I would also like to say is that the Peabody House also had a great deal in starting the West End newsletter and the West End video newsletter, because we had rented the camp, and we found out you can rent the camp. We rented the camp, and someone took names while we were up there, and the first 125 names came from the annual cookout at the camp. And from there, we started a newsletter. I started putting them together. I didn't know what to do with it, so I started a one-page flyer. And from there, the newsletter evolved, and then this TV show evolved right after it. So it has its roots. The newsletter has its roots in the Peabody House-related camp. So
That's an interesting comment, because we didn't realize that.
So. Anything else, sir?
I'd like Joan Colbert,
Joan Colbert's
chairman, to speak on anything that she'd like, and in particular, Joan, if you would also touch on the Spring Fashion Show, which was a smashing success, due in large part to your direction.
You're right about Somerville residents not knowing about the Peabody House. I've been in Somerville all my life, and until my friend Paula Mackey nominated me to be on the board, I had no idea what it was. And I think it's about 8 years, but I've enjoyed it. And the first event I had to chair was the fashion show, which was the scream. We had few models that were professional, but most of them were the board and our children, grandchildren, or whatever. And it really was a wonderful time. And we made money.
Well, that's always good.
That was fun. I enjoyed that, and we had everybody working. Even the guys were there doing things.
Rate it.
Not modeling.
Not modeling. Ray helped, but he didn't model. And now I'm working with Richie on the cruise, which I hope will be a big success. We need 450 people to come on our boat.
How many people do you have so far? You must have quite a few. There's been interest. I hear a lot of people talking about it.
Interest, and we do have, a goodly amount coming in, but we still need more. So if anybody is interested, it's going to be a good night.
We also have a graphic somewhere with the cruise show, the graphic.
Richie has it.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on the TV. If they could run the Elizabeth Peabody House, there it is. The Elizabeth Peabody House and their phone number. Anybody that's interested in going on the cruise, what is the cruise? It's $25, Richie?
Yes, the cruise is set for Saturday evening, July 13th. It's from Long Wharf in Boston. It's on the Frederick L. Nolan. It's a ship that we've been on before. In 1992, the West End newsletter had a cruise, and it was fun then, and we expected it to be even more of a enjoyable time with more people on it. We're going to have a disc jockey. We're going to have a hot and cold buffet. We're going to have a door prize. We're going to have raffles, and it should just be a wonderful time. If you do something only once every 100 years, that the harbor cruise is the thing to do right now.
And it's beautiful out there. If I remember the cruise we had for ourselves, you were part of it. We were out there it was balmy air and everything was really beautiful. You go out in the harbor and it's so tranquil and everything out there. I was standing on the top of the top deck, and it was just the harbor lights and everything. After it got dark, it was beautiful.
During the course of the last few years, a number of people have mentioned that they had a wonderful time on that cruise and had requested another one. So all those people that have asked for it, here it is. It's a 3-hour cruise, 7 to 10. Boarding starts at 6:30. And we're hoping that as the time gets closer, people are reluctant to put out money before an event actually comes
Yeah,
rather
that's
close.
true.
And $25 for each person. It adds up if you're going with a group. But it's going to a worthy cause, and we anticipate a good crowd, and we hope that...
We had food and music, too, I assume.
Food and music, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the disc jockey and hot and cold buffet.
And good weather.
And good weather.
Yes.
Good weather
Good weather,
guaranteed.
guaranteed.
Well, it's July,
Absolutely.
so July should be, that should be fine weather. Even if it's a little inclement, the boat is not open. You can also go below deck, so it's...
There are closed decks to shield you from any wind or...
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good. They're a good cruise company anyway. That's Matty Hughes' old
That's correct.
old line. Huh?
Yeah, an old West Ender.
Yeah. How about you, Ray? How you?
Well, I go back a long time, probably more than most.
I think your specialty is in the camp, right?
Yeah, my specialty is in the camp, but I did participate in other things in the Peabody House, and I really feel as though the reason why I'm on the board now is I felt that there's not many people can say they had a good childhood, but I really did. I was at a camp where I enjoyed, and where there were a lot of people during the Second World War. There were camps that were not that enjoyable in Europe. At the same time, I was at a camp, but the camp I went to was a lot more pleasurable. And I felt, because of that it was payback time. And I forgot all about the Peabody House when I went in the service of the Second World War. And I went to a picnic at the reunion at the camp. And I saw a lot of people that I was their counselor, and I just fell in love all over again. I saw the trees, and they were my friends, and the whole thing. People laugh at me, but I love them. And I decided that I was going to become a board member, and I'm the secretary of the organization, and I'm the head of the camp committee, and I'm president of the Alumni, Peabody House Alumni. And a lot of people think the Alumni is only from the West End, but a lot of you who went to camp are from Somerville that went to anything at the Peabody House. You are alumni. We would appreciate if you'd come to some meetings, or if you want to just call up, we'll send you letters. Come and help us out. We do want money, not because we need it. We want to expand things. We have people who come to camp who could never afford to go to a hotel or go to someplace expensive with their families. A family can come up to camp and rent a cabin very reasonably, and you could stay for a week, 2 weeks with your children, get out away from Somerville. We have children go to camp. If they can't afford it, we try to... Some children don't even pay. But we need money for these things. And what I'd like to do right now, if anyone's listening, we're asking the business people or the people of Somerville to please cooperate and help us grow.
Also, we're on in 7 other towns. So
yeah, we are in other towns too. It isn't just Somerville. We're Medford, Malden, Brookline. I mean, there's a lot of
Boston.
This whole area. If you could please help us help others, we would appreciate it. We're not asking for a lot, but if you got a good heart, you want to give to a good organization, give to us, and we'll make sure that that money goes to people who deserve it. And like I say, you've heard the others talking. We do very, very good work, and we would like cooperation from the community to help us, those who can. And those who can't, we'll help you.
You don't do, I guess, you don't do regular boys camp or girls camp?
Oh, we used to. When I went to camp, it was an overnight
Right.
camp. Right now, we take our children from daycare. Instead of being in a hot some storefront or any place like that, we take a bus and ship them down there. We have a beautiful lake. We have the best spot on the lake, our own private beach.
That is so
We
tranquil.
feed the children. We give them lunch. We bring them back to the city. And I'll tell you, it's my mother and my family were in the Peabody House. I belong to the Peabody House. My daughter goes up there with the children and my grandchildren. So you could say it's 4 generations. And I'm going to tell you, those of you who don't know about the Peabody House at Camp Gannet are missing out on something great. I mean, Somerville has a beautiful camp out in Sharon. It's yours. And it's there for you if you want it. And if you just ask us about it, you can use it like I do.
It's on a little cove. It's like an inlet, and it's the most tranquil place in the world. Because when I was a camper, I used to go down in the fishing hole and just sit there about 5 o'clock when everything was calm and the water was calm, and it just seemed like the world was so quiet. And even today, when I go out there, you know, whenever we have the camp or whatever we do out there, and you go down there, it has that same feel. It hasn't changed. Nobody's put high rises up on the banks of Lake Massapog, and that little inlet always seemed to be calm. The rest of the lake could be choppy, but that little inlet always seemed to be calm.
We have, there are other camps. We have Horizons for Youth on one side, but they don't have their own waterfront. They have to like walk across the street. You got the Salvation Army camp, which is on the lake.
Right.
But we have our own cove. It's private. And I'm telling you, you guys are missing out in Somerville or the surrounding communities. If you don't take advantage of this particular spot, it's yours. Come and get it.
I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that other communities can take advantage of our
from
programs.
anywhere around.
Because some people think it's just a Somerville program, but the surrounding
We're also on
communities
in
are
Stoneham,
invited.
too. I don't want to leave Richie's community out.
Malden, I'm from
sorry,
Malden,
Helen,
and
we're done.
I'm
Go ahead, finish.
Oh, I was just saying that I'm glad that you mentioned that other communities can participate because, as you say, it's a great place. Our programs are wonderful, and people should take advantage of them. Yes.
We should probably also, Jim, while we're on the subject of Camp Gannet, give a plug to the Camp Gannet reunion, which is fast approaching on Sunday, June 23rd.
I was going to suggest that.
Everyone is invited. It's $10 a carload. It's really a bang-up day.
Right.
And we're hoping to break our all-time record of 69 cars that was set a couple of years ago. We haven't done too well weather-wise 2 out of the last 3 years, but we're hoping for sunny and mild temperatures this year, and hoping to get into the 70s as far as cars and raise some additional monies for the camp. We're also having a raffle for Send a Kid to Camp scholarship for the Peabody House, and right now we're in a position to donate $300 to camperships, and we're hoping that by selling another couple of hundred books we can double that amount. So we want all of you out there to come and join us on Sunday, June 23rd.
I would just like to say, the camp is, for your $10, you can cook up there. You can bring your grills, and you can put all your stuff.
Swimming.
You can sit up there. You can have, you can grill your food, and hot dogs, hamburgers, sausages, and you can go around, and there are activities for the kids, little kids. Have all these activities. We give trophies out, so it's a pretty good time. We used to have a race. Is the race still?
The race is still on. Sonny Lopresti still handles all of the races, coordinates.
Yeah, it's only $10 for a whole carload. If you got a big car, pack them in. We don't see how many people. And come down and look. And you'll see what we got, and you'll be very surprised. And that money we get, we send kids that can't go. We refuse no one as long as we have the money. I mean, these kids go to camp if we can help it.
It's been, it started about, when did I start that? It's had to be at least 13 years now.
I think we should also say that we mentioned Leonard Nimoy before, but he is the honorary chairman of the Centennial.
That's right.
And he started out in our playhouse in the West End as a child, and he's got a book out that some of you may have read and may not, and he mentions the Peabody House and how he got started. He also went to camp, and I don't remember, but I think he was there when I was there, and I may have been his counselor. I don't know.
That book is I Am Spock.
Yeah, I Am Spock.
I Am Spock.
Yeah.
Well, that was a beautiful theater. It was a full-size theater. It had brass rails. It had an orchestra.
It was a full theater. It was a real theater.
That's right.
Jim, are we able to get Richie Puppa to join us?
Oh, Richie Puppa's here. Richie, would you like to come over here?
Swing right in and
You want to
We've just had an added addition.
Not the elderly.
No. Oh. Every year we also bring the elderly from Boston, from the Amy Lowell and the Blackstone apartments. We have a bus go down there, pick up the elderly and bring them out, and we feed them and take care of them. They have a great day every year. They're so happy. Matter of fact, they call us all the time every year when it comes up about this time. They want to know when the bus is going to be, where it's going to pick them up, how they're going to get out there. And the city usually donates the bus every year. And I'm pretty sure they've done it again this year. So we'll have a good time. The elderly always have had a good time up there. They like it. They probably like it more than anybody except the kids. So it's a good trip.
Yeah.
Would you like to say something, Richie? Or?
No, not really.
Richard Pupper here is a longtime board member and valued alumni member. He had promised he wouldn't say a word. I don't believe that.
I'm not.
If you could just share some comments on the harbor cruise, some of the donations that we've
Well,
been
we're
getting.
trying to get donations.
That's enough.
We're trying to accept donations. I'm going up to see Tommy Paulo, a lot of you people know. And I've been going to Somerville. I talked to Vinny, forget it. Awards Unlimited, I talked to him, Joey.
Yeah.
I mean,
John.
Joe Russo.
So
John.
we're trying to solicit
More gifts.
raffle
Raffle.
prizes.
And that's all I'm saying.
All right. Thank you very much.
I'd like to say also for the elderly, we have a lot of people cooperate that are not from Somerville. KM Meats in Chelsea donates all the meat every year for the barbecue for the elderly, and they never refuse. And like I say, we do need help from different businesses that, you know, and believe me, you'll get a lot of satisfaction out of it too, because it's a good cause.
Joan, is there anything more you'd like to add? You've been very quiet there.
Oh, no.
Probably pondering.
I am pondering. I'm thinking about the cruise.
Right.
What a good time it will be, and it's for everybody. I mean, it's planning your little parties or groups, anything.
I'll tell you one thing. I got a lot of pride. I never ask anybody for anything, but I'm out there chiseling for this organization. Wherever I can get a dime or any kind of thing, I do it, because it's really worth it.
Well, Richard?
Jim, if we might just make the viewers aware of how hard the alumni and board of directors have worked in trying to ensure a successful centennial, in addition to the Spring Fashion Show that Joan Colbert chaired, and the Night at the Pops that Ellen O'Brien chaired. Teresa Imbonon also chaired the Leonard Nimoy night at Somerville Theater.
Right.
And in addition to that, we also had breakfast with Governor Weld, which was
Yeah.
very successful and introduced us to a lot of businessmen from the Somerville area. That is behind us. We're moving ahead now with the Harbor Cruise on Saturday, July 13th. Then we have a Gala dinner dance at the Colonial in Wakefield on September 28th. And then we have the one-woman show dealing with Elizabeth Peabody, and the woman's name was Mickey
Linsky.
Linsky.
Yes.
That will be in November, I believe.
That's right, November time frame.
Okay, and so you see that there have been a number of events that have gone on and will continue to go on, that all have taken hours and hours of dedication and planning by the board and the alumni. And I think all of us that are associated with the Peabody House are proud to be involved in the effort to celebrate this monumental occasion.
We also, we also have in that centennial, we also have a book that will be coming out, like an ad book. And we're asking all of you to please, even if it's a little ad, try to help out and take an ad in this book. And at the banquet we're having, we're not sure, but we may have Leonard Nimoy there.
Well, I guess we're coming down to the end of this, and I was one of the founding members of the alumni, so one thing we'd like to do, Richie, could you show that up in just 1 second? If you could zip in on that.
The Elizabeth Peabody House Centennial Harbor Cruise is scheduled for Saturday evening, July 13th, 1996. We will be cruising into the next centennial. The boarding will be at 6:30 p.m. The cruise will be a 3-hour cruise from 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. in the evening. We'll be sailing on the Frederick L. Nolan Jr. We will be leaving from Long Wharf in Boston. The price per person is $25. We are going to have food, dancing, a DJ, cash bar, a raffle, and a door prize. If you're interested in tickets, the people that you may call are Joan Colbert at 666-4249, Richard Morello at 423-0779, Bob Pino at 628-7355, Teresa Imbornone at 258-4062, Ray Harris at 324-0511, and Richie Papa at 628-8677. If you need any additional information, call the Elizabeth Peabody House at 623-5510.
Well, I guess that's it, and see you at the next West End Video Newsletter.
Good evening.